Shalom, friends. I want to take an opportunity to wish you all a Chag Sameach. I hope you have an enjoyable end of Yom Tov. I also wanted to share with you a brief message regarding Yizkor. But before I do that, I also want to let you know how we've been working to stay connected and how our community has managed to stay connected over the last few weeks. Very importantly, hundreds of phone calls have been made to members of our congregation, the most vulnerable members of our congregation. Dozens and dozens of texts and emails have been sent checking in on people. The feedback has been wonderful in terms of responses. People are responding. People seem to be coping well. And in the few situations where there is reason for concern, we have been following up. And I want to extend an invitation to anyone who's listening, who's watching, that if you know anyone in distress, you know if anyone needs help, that they should please reach out to me directly or to Ruthie, or you can pass the information along, and I'll be happy and I'm eager to follow up. You have done a great job of keeping connected. We have had fantastic participation in the programs that we have had over Zoom and the outdoor programs that we have had over the last few weeks. Chalk the Walk and the two scavenger hunts that we have been a huge success. They've gotten people out on the street and they've given people a chance to connect, at least through seeing other people on the scavenger hunts or through their windows at the front porches of their home. And that's been such an important and wonderful way of keeping us all connected. When it comes to the Zoom activities that we had over 70 people on our Zoom Yizkor that took place on Sunday. We had over 60 people last night at our comedy night with Avi Lieberman, 50 people at the Mock Seder, and the numbers go on and on. And it's a wonderful story that people are really working hard to stay connected. And before and after those programs, there's chatting and people checking in and waving, just happy to see each other's face. And so I want to urge you, if you have been, to continue participating in these programs. And if you haven't, try it. I think you'll find it meaningful and important. And if you're having trouble with the Zoom technology, again, please don't hesitate to call on me. I'll be happy to help you in any way I can. And to that end, after Pesach is over, I plan on just announcing certain times over the course of the day where I will log on to Zoom and just be there if anyone wants to chat. These won't be private meetings, but a chance to just get together as a small group, no matter how many people come on, to say hello to me, to say hello to each other, and just to catch up. Of course, if anyone needs any private time, the opportunity is always there to email or to call me and to set a time for us to speak. I'm happy and eager to do that. And now I'd like to share a brief thought with you about Yizkor. Doing Yizkor alone at home is certainly not something that we anticipated, and it's certainly not something that we hope for and desire. It is not the optimal way to remember our loved ones. We'd rather do it in our community, supported by those who love us and near those who could give us solace at a difficult time. And I think it's important just to simply admit that and appreciate that. And nonetheless, we have to do the best we can. If you're saying Yizkor at home, and the Yizkor service is included in the links in the email that this video came with, I'd like you to consider the following thought as you say Yizkor. One of the very important ways of coping with events like the one we're dealing with is to think about other times where we have been challenged and to remember that even as we have been challenged during those times, we have overcome those challenges. A mental health professional said told me when speaking to a child who's nervous or anxious, you could say to them, remember, you broke your ankle, you lost a toy, you moved, and nonetheless, even though those were difficult moments, you're better now, you overcame, and you're okay. And I think as adults, we could use the same advice. And it's such a Jewish idea, right? Especially on Pesach, we hearken back to past events, negative events, and we look at them and we remember the hard times, and we say, nonetheless, we managed to come through those hard times, and we came through on the other side, and maybe we're even better and stronger and more fortunate than we were before. And that's a really important way of coping. And I think that that has a direct relationship and connection to Yizkor. During Yizkor, we remember our loved ones who passed away, of course. And perhaps during this Yizkor, and this is the idea I shared at the Zoom Yizkor, perhaps this Yizkor, we could remember the characteristics of the individuals who we're remembering that are particularly helpful at a moment like this. Perhaps we could remember when someone who we are saying Yizkor for helped us through a difficult time and what that felt like, what they said to us, what they did for us, how exactly it was that they helped us get through that time. By doing this, we could turn this Yizkor, even though we'll be doing it in our homes, into something so special and so deeply meaningful. We will be engaging in something which is called creative memory. It's important to remember, but it's also, and perhaps even more important, to use memory to move us ahead, use memory for something positive. And so we could create a Yizkor of positive, creative memory, of using the characteristics, remembering the characteristics, and remembering events of the past, of the people who helped us and the people we're remembering during this Yizkor who helped us through these difficult times. I hope this thought is helpful for you. Before you say Yizkor on the last day of Pesach on Thursday, just take a moment to think about this. Maybe you want to write it down now so you don't forget. Take a moment to think about those characteristics, about those events that helped you through those difficult times in relation to the people you are saying Yizkor for today. I hope you have a very meaningful and beautiful end of the holiday. I hope the Yizkor, if you are saying it, is precious and meaningful and inspirational, and this year especially helpful to you. Once again, I wish you a Chag Sameach. I look forward to being in contact with you after the holiday, and I especially pray that we could all be together in person soon. Shalom.